I talk to hundreds and hundreds of people that want to come sailing with us. And there are some questions that get asked often. And so today we are going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions. So you can get it all in one lump sum if you want to. And hopefully you'll get something that will help you feel like you know better what it is in case you want to come with us. Welcome to the What Could Go Right podcast. We are your hosts, Erik, Orton.
And I'm Emily Orton.
And here we talk about personal growth and sailing. In 2014, we moved aboard a fixer-upper sailboat and bootstrapped a year sailing with our 5 kids, and it changed our lives forever.
We tell the whole story in our memoir, our book, 7 at Sea. On this podcast, we want to help you go from fear to freedom, one adventure at a time.
All right, so today we're going to talk about some of the frequently asked questions that people have when they're interested in going sailing with us. And we've just made a list in no particular order whatsoever, and we'll try and keep the answers as long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting.
That's right. And I would say it isn't just about logistics. This is about helping you feel like you are ready to relax into a sailing adventure. That is our goal. So we're going to dive into what we have learned after talking to hundreds of people about these sailing trips and hearing their questions. I think a new question today might be...
Where did we get... Sorry, I don't mean to steal your thunder.
No, you have it. Carry on.
The question is, where did you get those shirts? If you're listening to this, you may want to pop over to YouTube just for a second to see our shirts. And the short answer is...
Decathlon. This is a store in Europe that is like if REI and Walmart had a baby, you can just get some great outdoor gear for some really great prices. And
we should get them to sponsor us. We should, yeah, we make their gear look good.
But it was so fun. We were there. We went on our trip to Croatia and we went to Decathlon. That's like a destination for us when we're in Europe. And we got some fun things. And especially it was fun to get these sort of coordinated shirts. Hopefully they look very sailorish and professional.
At the same time.
As we share our answers to your questions. All right. So question 1.
Okay.
Again, in no particular order. Can I come solo?
Yes, you can come solo. We have all kinds of people on these trips. Solo travelers, married couples, 2 friends that want to travel together. It might be a father-son or any combination of people, but yes, you can come solo.
We sometimes have married people coming solo just because this is the kind of activity their spouse isn't interested in.
Very true.
So.
Okay. Sorry. And I'm going to cover some other stuff, but we'll keep it. We'll try and keep the answer concise to that question.
Yeah.
Because other questions will cover the same information.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's the mix of people on board? Singles, couples, like what's the combo?
Well, I'm repeating myself, but yes, you can come as a solo traveler. You can come as a couple. You can come with your traveling buddy. If you come solo, you will make friends. If you come with somebody that you know, you'll get to know them a lot better, and I believe get closer, and also make friends with the people on the boat that you may not know yet.
Awesome. Oh, this is a big one. What if I'm prone to motion sickness?
If you are prone to motion sickness, this is a very common concern. I myself am very prone to motion sickness, and so I have a lot of sympathy for this. It is so manageable. I have yet to have somebody come out on a trip and have them be miserable all week because they were seasick. Couple of things. First of all, your body will acclimate. Secondly, there is a lot that you can do specifically on a sailboat to make sure that you have a comfortable experience. Cruise ships, dive boats, whale watching boats, deep sea fishing boats, they are probably the worst for getting seasick because they don't care about which way the wind is blowing or which way the swell is going. They're going to get to a specific destination no matter what. With a sailboat, we keep it flexible enough and we can sail the boat in a way that you harmonize with the elements rather than try and work against them. And so you can definitely I'll just say we do a lot. I do a lot from the skipper standpoint to keep it comfortable for everybody, including myself. And I would say that my pro tip is if you want to get seasick, go below deck when the boat is moving, get something out of your cabin, use the bathroom, change clothes. That's probably the best way to get seasick. If you don't want to be seasick, stay on deck, have the wind in your face, stay hydrated. Don't let yourself get too hot, and maybe sing along to some of the music that we like to play when we are sailing.
And the captain will often remind you before, as you get the hang of it, to say, hey, we're about to set sail. So if there's anything you need to do below decks before we start, take care of it now. And then off you go. Okay, the next question. Do I have to share a cabin?
No. If you are a solo traveler, you do not have to share a cabin. I have had people come by themselves and have a cabin to themselves. You do pay for 2 spots. By paying for 2 spots, you are guaranteed to have a full cabin to yourself, including your own private bathroom. So if you don't want to share with anyone, it's easy. It's just a little bit higher price. If you want to come solo, you can share a cabin with somebody. You pay for 1 spot, and then you'll just be paired up with somebody. We'll put men in the same cabin or women in the same cabin. We don't mix that up. And so you'll make a new friend. And I will say this, some people ask about bunk beds. We have bunk beds so often that I don't even want to mention it.
So rarely.
So rarely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Of all the trips that we're doing in 2026, so far we have 1 set of bunk beds on the boat that we have lined up. And so it's most likely that you would be sharing a bed with somebody. Think of it as a double wide queen size bed. And I like to think of it as camping. If you're in a tent, you're just going to be sleeping side by side. You'll have your own linens and pillow and blankets, but you do share a space. And if that's a concern to you, maybe this isn't your trip, or maybe you need to lock in that 1 set of bunk beds. But really it's...
Or maybe you need to bring a buddy, someone you're really comfortable sharing with.
Or bring a buddy, yeah.
So yeah, the bunk beds, they sound like, oh, that could be a great idea because I can have my own bed. But they're just narrow.
They're small. The bunk beds are small. I'll be honest.
They're small. We had somebody who specifically wanted a bunk bed. She actually bought both spots, but she wanted a bunk bed. She brought a friend along and did not like the bunk bed.
So
we were like, oh, we gave you. Sometimes it's hard when your dreams come true. Okay. Can I scuba dive?
Yes, you can scuba dive. We have had plenty of people dive off from the boat off. We will help you locate and rent scuba gear that will be on the boat for the trip. What we don't do is we don't factor in stops to refill the tanks, just because it can take over a trip. So if you want to dive, you can get 1 to 2 dives in with the tanks that are on the boat. And the rest of the time you can be snorkeling with the rest of the crew. If you really want to dive and do a lot of it or kind of go hard, I would recommend teaming up with a dive company either just before you get on the boat or just after you get on the boat, kind of the day before the day we get off. And they can zip you out to the best dive spots. They'll have everything organized for you. They'll take great care of you. And so those are the options for diving when you're on a trip with us.
What if something happens and I cannot make the trip?
Great question. This is a concern that a lot of people have. My number 1 recommendation is get travel insurance. As soon as you make a deposit with us, you can get comprehensive travel insurance that for any reason, if you are not able to make the trip, they'll refund everything, including your deposit. Now, that's going to be a higher priced policy. You can get lower price policies that will include just what you need. And we actually, as of this month, have now partnered with Allianz Travel. It's the French insurance company, and we can offer you the preferred rates and packages that are available to us. And so if you're at all concerned, get yourself some travel insurance, enjoy the peace of mind, and no matter what, you will be able to be made whole financially if anything happens. Either you can't make the trip or along the way something happens and you need to leave early, because of a family member or what have you. That is the best way to have peace of mind.
Whoa, what if there's a hurricane or the trip needs to get canceled for some reason? Yeah, what if it's beyond our control or on our side that the trip can't happen?
If the trip can't happen and that's because of us,
Or the weather.
or any reason. Well, if the trip happens for reasons non-related to us, then everyone can rely on their travel insurance. If we, or specifically I, cannot make the trip for some reason, everyone gets a full refund. If I can't show up, that's on us.
And that's never happened.
Has never happened.
But it's good to have a plan.
Yep.
Ooh, if we're on the trip, are there opportunities to go on land, or are we just going to be on a boat 24/7 for 5 to 7 days? I definitely have heard someone who had this question and was like, "Oh, I just don't know about that."
There are chances to go on land every day, oftentimes multiple times a day. Sometimes it's just, we're out snorkeling and you can swim to the beach and hang out on the beach for a little bit. Sometimes we're docked and we take the dinghy in and we spend several hours on shore, either for dinner at a restaurant, or we're going to go for a small hike or ride around on scooters. But there are multiple chances to go on shore throughout the week, at least once a day.
Okay. Ooh, what's your favorite trip?
I do not have a favorite trip, just like I do not have a favorite child. What
a diplomat.
We only go to locations that we only go back to locations that we really enjoy. And everything on this year's roster is a place we've been before, except Norway. So
we're going to wear these shirts to Norway. So
we really have
you're definitely going to want to come on that trip.
We really have no choice. There's Norway. We're not going to wear these shirts. Okay. So yes. Sorry. The question is
favorite trip.
So I like each destination for a different reason. Going to the Bay of Naples in Italy is very different than going to French Polynesia. They're both wonderful. You're going to get way better Italian food in Italy.
Yeah.
And you're going to see more beautiful hillside villages and lemon groves in Italy. And in French Polynesia, you're going to see massive expanses of turquoise water inside the most beautiful lagoon you've ever seen. And there's going to be all kinds of incredible sea wildlife that you can play with in the water. And so, Mexico is unique and beautiful for its own reasons. The Bahamas is unique and beautiful for its own reasons. Every destination has its own thing to offer. It's just a matter of whether you want warm turquoise water in the middle of winter, or do you want sort of delicious food and history and kind of the ambiance of the Mediterranean during the summer. Just got to choose what's your priority, and then find the trip that's the right one for you.
Okay, is snorkel gear provided?
Some snorkel gear is provided. Fins are included. You do not need to pack your snorkel fins and bring them. If you have a snorkel mask and tube, yes, bring that. Sometimes they are available at the charter base. Since COVID, they've been a lot more hit and miss. So bring your own snorkel and mask, or plan on purchasing something when you arrive. There's plenty of options to do that. But you do not need to pack and bring snorkel fins or flippers.
Great. And just speaking of snorkel masks, is there a mask that you recommend?
I have used a variety of types, and I, at the moment, prefer the full face mask. I like it because it doesn't push into the bridge of my nose. I like it because it's super easy to get on and off. It doesn't kind of like tug on my hair. And I also have a wider field of view, because the more traditional ones kind of come forward in your peripheral vision, and the full face ones are just wide open. And so that's what I use. And the snorkel, now they collapse down, so they're really easy to pack. That's my favorite for the moment.
Okay, thank you. What if I have a CPAP? I actually have this question because our daughter also uses a CPAP.
You can bring a CPAP. What I recommend is that if you have a battery that goes with it, I do recommend bringing that. We will have power on the boat. Oftentimes we will run the generator at night, especially if it's hot and we want to have the AC running. And we'll get to AC in another question. But you can power a CPAP machine through the night. The battery bank is probably the most convenient and easy. And if we're not running the AC, the CPAP machine will draw down on the batteries, and sometimes that can wear down the batteries. But either way, don't worry, whether it's battery or the generator, or if you just have a low draw CPAP, the boat can handle it. You'll be taken care of, and you will breathe easy at night.
Great. Thank you. Um, do you accommodate food allergies or dietary preferences?
Do you want to answer that one?
I'll take this one. At this stage of the game, I've been planning hundreds of meals for all different kind of preferences. And sometimes we'll have a boat that someone wants to be vegan and the other person wants to be keto. So they're eating the opposite foods. So I guess the short answer is yes. We do take your food preferences and your allergies into consideration. It's a huge part of the trip to make sure that you are going to be feeling good and feeling happy about what you have to eat after you climb up off the swim dock and towel off after a great snorkel and are feeling a little hungry. We have you covered. We actually have you fill out a form, and you can give as much or as little information as you'd like to share. But we do base the menu on the information that you share. So feel free to let us know everything that matters to you when it comes to food, and we will accommodate that. There's another question in the food category, which is, how do the meals work?
The meals work like this. After you fill out our questionnaire about your food, Emily puts together the meal plan with her team and then organizes the shopping. The food gets delivered to the boat most of the time. Most of the food gets delivered most of the time. And anything else that we can't get on island, I'll bring it with me in my suitcase, or I might do a custom shopping trip once we get there. That said, we have all the food on board. The meal plan is based on information that you've given us. And then I'll show up with the meal plan and the recipes. And usually I'll just tape up a list or a sign-up sheet, and you can pick which meal I should say, everyone pitches in cooking on these trips. So you can pick a meal that you feel comfortable with, sign up for that. We'll figure out what day or afternoon we'll have that lunch or that dinner. And then you are in charge of it. You don't have to do everything, but you're in charge of prepping that meal and getting it ready for the group.
Yeah, and asking for help. If you're like, hey, will someone chop this or peel that? And you're just the meal leader.
Yeah, so you're the meal leader. You can say, will you be in charge of sauteing this or grilling that, what have you? And we all pitch in with setting the table and cleaning up the dishes afterwards. And everyone eats really well. Nobody spends the whole week in the kitchen. And Emily puts together great food for all of us to enjoy on every trip.
Yeah, the meals are one of the anchor times in the day. Not just that you're at anchor, but that you all sit down together and kind of share the incredible experiences that you had that day. So it's a really important part of coming together as a crew to prepare the meals, eat the meals together, and then take turns cleaning up afterwards. It's really a special time.
The only thing I'll add is that breakfast, you're on your own. You make your own breakfast. You can get cereal, you can get yogurt, fruit, you can make an omelet. It's all there, but everyone does their own. Sometimes somebody will be like, hey, I just want to make omelets for whoever wants one. Or, they kind of set up a little station for whatever they're into, and we all take care of each other. But, everyone makes their own breakfast.
Yeah, and sometimes people will have just a generous impulse to say, there's a specific thing I'd love to make for you. Like you mentioned omelets, or there might be a dinner, or, oh, I have a specialty in this cuisine and I'd love to cook for everybody, and I'll bring some of the, specific spices that are needed. That's just the kind of people that come on these trips. Yeah. Okay. Do I have to share a bed with someone?
No, you do not have to share a bed with someone. I covered this in another question, but just so you know, if you want a cabin to yourself, you can book 2 spots and you will have a full cabin to yourself. If you do not book 2 spots, then you will, and you're coming by yourself, you will be paired up with somebody. That said, you will have a cabin, a place where you can go and sleep, change your clothes. You have a restroom that's, a bathroom that's yours. Also, I would say that there are other places to sleep on the boat. Lots of people not every night, but some nights want to sleep on deck and enjoy the stars or the breeze. So you can sleep on deck. You can sleep in the salon where there are couches. There's various places to sleep on the boat, but you will have a bed no matter what. And if unless you book 2 spots, that you will be assigned to share that with one other person of your same gender. And but then you can do what works for you in terms of where you sleep. You can say, I want to sleep on deck a couple of nights, or you can just share your cabin. I will say this, as a camper who's oftentimes sleeping next to somebody that I know not as well as Emily, sometimes just to avoid keeping it awkward, I'll do what's called head to toe. We'll sleep head to toe. One person has their head on that end with their pillow, and the other person next to them has it at the other end of the bed. And so we're side by side, but we're not going to have pillow talk.
Like face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And we've also seen people who are great friends come on the trip together, and one friend wanted to sleep in the cabin and the other friend slept on deck almost every night. So they each kind of had their own space that way, but there was always like, I can come back here to use the bathroom, or this is where I'm getting ready for the day, or if I want to take a break, I can lay down there. Anyway, it's flexible. What if the person I'm coming with isn't interested in learning to sail?
It's pretty common to have, when people come with somebody, it's pretty common to have different levels of interest in sailing life, sailing skills. And that's one of the things that I like about our trips, is that unlike a sailing school or a sailing class where everybody has to be doing the book work, demonstrating maneuvers, and taking a test at the end of the week, on our trip, you can learn at whatever level is of interest to you. So if you come with, let's say it's a couple and a husband and wife come, and the husband really, really wants to learn how to sail, and the wife is happy to be there, but mostly she wants to enjoy the sunshine and read a book, that's fine with me. I'm going to need help sailing the boat at a few key moments: raising the sail, casting off, anchoring. Those I'm going to need help. But as long as I have enough people pitching in to do that, and it doesn't take that many, we're fine. But as much as you want to learn, if you are interested, you can go full on. You can hang out with me. I'll show you everything. You can pepper me with questions all day long, and your spouse or traveling buddy can do what level is interesting to them. Or they're like, hey, they actually really want to help out in the kitchen. They can do that and don't have to help out with the sailing at all. So it really is. It's. I think one of the bonuses of what we do is that it allows you to calibrate between you, the two of you, what level would be a good fit for each of you.
And I would say this isn't guaranteed, but I haven't seen a time when couples came with different levels of sailing interest where the less interested partner didn't increase in their interest of sailing on one of these trips, where you haven't been able to gently persuade them to sit behind the helm and take a turn, at least at the helm, steering the boat, or letting you walk them through the navigation system and maybe tap the button to shift 10 degrees this way or that way, and kind of feel like, hey, I'm actually learning something new and this is more fun than I thought. So not guaranteed, but that has happened 100% of the time when couples have come with one being more interested and one being less interested.
And if you want to hear a success story, I'll just say one time we were doing a sailing trip in Sardinia, Italy, and the husband shared his favorite kind of takeaway from the trip. And at the end, it was, my wife came and she loves this so much that now we are on the same page about our goals for, sailing life. Yeah. And so it can be a great way to, with I think very low pressure, try it out, and each person gets to get a feel for what would be fun for them going forward. And it's never gone down in terms of sailing interest, but the level to which it goes up can be like all the way.
Yes. And I think it's largely due to just being in that environment with all people who are like, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to try to figure it out, or I'm interested in learning. Mm-hmm. And that is the environment that we support. Okay. Can I come on more than one trip?
Yes, you can come on more than one trip. In fact, I love it when people come back. You might say, I want to start with a trip that's in Europe because I've always wanted to go, or I want to start with a trip to the Bahamas because it's easy to get to and it sounds beautiful. But it is one of my favorite things when people say, man, I had so much fun. I'm coming back and I'm bringing this person, or I actually want to sign up for 2 trips this year because I want to go to Europe and I want to go to somewhere, closer to home, or I've never been to French Polynesian, so I want to go. So yes, I think the record is 3 trips running, 3 trips and counting so far.
Yeah, good times. How much opportunity is there to learn to sail?
There is as much as you want. First of all, we will sail every day. A lot of times people go out on sailing trips and they'll have what I'm going to call a lazy skipper. It's somebody that's been hired and their job is to drive the boat for the week. They do not want to teach you how to sail and they actually don't want to put up the sails. They may actually not know how to sail.
But
It's fine.
it's just more effort to put up the sails
It's
than to
And so they'll say,
use the
"Oh, there's
engine.
not enough wind to sail today," or we have to, you know, all that's to say, if there is a chance to sail, I put up the sails and I welcome everybody to come and learn. What I do not do is I do not say, hey, everybody gather up, we're going to have a sailing lesson, and sit everybody down and make everybody listen to whatever I'm teaching. I will say, we're about to cast off. I need help with the bow lines and the stern lines. And if you volunteer, I will explain to you exactly what needs to happen and we'll do it together. I might, once we're out on the water, I'll say, we're now going to raise the sails. Who wants to help raise the sails? And if you raise your hand, I'll walk you through it. Or we're coming into our anchorage for the night, and I'll say, we're going to drop the anchor. Who wants to help with that? If you volunteer, you will get a chance to learn. And throughout the week, we're going to do these same tasks on repeat. It's a cycle. And the more you volunteer and the more you ask questions, the more you will learn and the more skilled you'll be by the end of the trip. And so it really is as much or as little as you want. But if you ask me, I will answer. And if you want to try something, I will help you.
Awesome. How much do the trips cost?
Great question. The trips vary by location. The trips in Europe are 7 day, or I'll say 8 days, 7 nights, meaning a Saturday afternoon to a Saturday morning the following week. The trips in the Western Hemisphere are usually Monday through Saturday. So Monday afternoon through Saturday morning. So 6 days, 5 nights. And so they vary by location and duration. The trips that I'll just say this, the lowest cost trip that we have right now is about $3,500. And the highest price trip we have is about $7,000.
And that's per person?
Per person.
Per spot.
Per spot. So if you want to buy a single spot, that's what you would pay that amount, and you would have one spot and be paired up with somebody that is going to share your cabin. Or if you're going to come as a couple, it would be the number times 2. And most of the trips are in the lower end of that $3,500 to $7,000 range. And our prices do, nudge up year over year as costs go up and things like that. But, we try to keep them affordable.
Great. Well, how much is a deposit?
Right now, our deposits are 20%. And that is the way that you confirm your spot. Once you make the deposit, it's locked in for you. We may be increasing our deposits to 25%, but right now it's 20%. And then the balance of our payment is due at present 90 days before we go. We may be extending that out to 100 days, 120 days before we go. But the deposit, 20%, confirms your spot. And then you have whatever time between when you make the payment to that window of time before we go to pay for your trip. You can make payments whenever you want at any amount. And so if you want to make it easy for yourself, you can just schedule those out. Or if you say, hey, there's a last minute spot, you just pay the full amount all at once and you get to go. And off we are.
Okay. I think you've already answered this question, but separate from that, do you offer payment plans?
Okay. Yeah. Let me try and restate this. You make a deposit to secure your spot. We don't offer specific payment plans where you pay a monthly amount to go. However, your trip needs to be paid in full no later than 90 days before. Again, we might bump that back to 120, but you can make payments along the way for any amount that you want until your trip is paid in full. But there's a deadline of when it's paid in full. I will say this, we are playing with the idea of offering what we call a sailing subscription, where you make a monthly payment of a flat amount. And once you have made 10 payments of that amount, you will be able to pick any trip on our schedule that matches with that payment tier, so that you can say, I'm just going to save up, sort of, we can be your accountability buddies for saving up to go on a trip with us, where you just pay a flat monthly amount. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, that sounds great. If that's something you're interested in, let us know in the comments or send us an email and be like, I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Now we're talking about the boats specifically. Are there outlets in the rooms?
Yes, you will have outlets in the rooms. Those outlets vary by destination. Some of them are European outlets. So you'll have 220-volt outlets, and you can just bring an adapter. Or if we're in the Bahamas or the BVI or Mexico, there'll be typical 110-volt US outlets. That said, all the boats will have USB outlets, so you can charge your phone, iPads, any smaller devices that will charge off of a USB cable. And if we are in a foreign country with 220-volt outlets, I will bring an adapter that I plug in the main area of the boat, and it'll just be a power strip, and people can plug in as many devices there as they want. So not everybody has to bring an adapter.
Okay. Are there fans?
Everybody is a fan on our boat. No, we have the vast majority of boats have at least one fan in each cabin, and including some in the main salon areas. So keeps the air flowing, and keeps it nice and comfortable in every cabin.
What about AC? Is there AC on these boats?
The vast majority of the boats that we take out have air conditioning. So we don't always use it because we don't need it. But if we are in an area that is warm, especially at night, we can run air conditioning at night. We will not run it usually during the day because the boat is open and we're moving and there's airflow through the boat. But at night, if it's going to be more comfortable for everybody, we turn on a generator and we can have air conditioning throughout the night.
So if you have air conditioning, if you're running the air conditioning, you're also going to have the motor hum.
Yeah, you get the white noise of the generator running at night.
Okay, great.
Actually, I'll just say this. Sometimes people want the air conditioning to sleep comfortably, and sometimes they say we want the hatches open because we want to hear the water lapping against the boat. We want the breeze coming in. Really, I just give the option to the crew as we're on the water, and sometimes we opt one way on one night, and some ways on another night. It's really we're flexible.
Yeah, great. What about engines and motors on the boat, or we just have a sail and that's it? That's how we have to count on the wind?
All the boats that we take out have engines. Catamarans obviously have two, one on each side of the boat. And so we are never stuck. We will always be able to get where we need to go. The engines are very helpful when we're maneuvering in tight spaces or coming into a marina or a dock. And so we sail as much as possible, but we always have motors to make sure that we're never stranded.
Okay, here's one that not maybe everybody knows about, but some people are asking, what about a water maker? Does the boat have a water maker?
Actually, yeah, I think the question that I get most often is there going to be enough water for everybody? And the shorter answer is Emily does. The answer is yes.
I always buy too much water.
Emily buys, we prefer to have bottled water on the boat to drink that's in bottles, and you can bring your own water jug or water.
If you're somebody who has one of those, water bottles that you take everywhere, you'll like that on the boat. You should pack it.
Yeah. And so we always have drinkable water, and we have a fresh water supply for showering, for washing dishes, for cooking, anything of that nature. And if we start to run low, we might get water from the dock if we're at a marina, or we can make water using a reverse osmosis water maker. And a couple of limitations are we can't make water when we're moving the boat, and we also want to be in the right level of depth. We wouldn't want to make water in a marina or something like that, but we have the ability on most boats to create our own fresh water as we go, which is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And with making the fresh water, to run the reverse osmosis water maker, you also need to be running the generator. So your boat will be holding still and you will hear that hum of the generator going. And it's cool that it can do it. It's also kind of a slow process, which is why I order lots of drinking water, and there are always gallons and gallons left over, but I just like to be on the safe side.
Never hurts to have too much water. And so, yeah, it's not like we have unlimited supply of water in the sense that it takes time to make the water, and we don't always want to just sit at anchor with the boat stationary while we make a batch of water. So we try to use our water wisely, but we're never going to be without good, clean water for whatever we need.
Oh, yes, water wise. Speaking of water, how would you describe being water wise on a boat? Like, yes, well, there will be bottled water plenty. Yes, there could be reverse osmosis water maker. But does that mean I can just use unlimited water the same way I would at home?
We have to be good stewards of the water. And so when you shower or bathe, there's so many different terms, but basically you're going to take a camping shower, I'll just say. You turn the water on, and yes, there will be warm water. The water gets heated by circulating around the engines when we run the engines. So you can have warm water, and you just rinse down and get wet, turn the water off, wash your hair, soap up, and then turn the water on to rinse off. You never leave a faucet just running on a boat, whether it's in the shower or the sink or while you're doing dishes. And another way to be water wise is when you're doing the dishes, we'll get a little dish, fill it with soapy water, and start with the least greasy dishes and wash those all the way down to the end. And the greasy dishes we put at the bottom, so all the soapy water is kind of dripping onto it. And at the very end, we'll clean the greasiest dishes, and then we do a big batch of rinsing all at once. And we find that that's the best way to conserve our water while getting our dishes clean.
Great. Thanks for answering that question. Okay. A lot of people go on these vacations to get away, but also want to know, will there be Wi-Fi?
I always tell people you can be as connected as you want to be. Most of the places we go, an international cell phone plan will be everything you need. Surprisingly, in the Bahamas, you can sail all over the Bahamas and have a great cell phone connection. I do not get Wi-Fi packages for the boat. That's really only necessary if you need to be using big chunks of data or do something video related, and that's not really what we do. So bring your phone, have plans for if you want to stay connected, plan on getting an international package for the trip. I will say we just bought a Starlink. Not sure how often we'll be using it, but if we're ever in a spot where it's dead, we will have it.
I have the
little unboxing here.
The little Starlink right here. This is
ta-da. So cell phone service will take you there most of the time, and we will have a backup if really necessary.
Great. What about in the kitchen? Am I going to have a toaster, a coffee maker, or a blender? This is a question that we get a lot because when people will fill out their food forms, they'll say that they like to have shakes for breakfast, or they want to know, like, what kind of coffee are we going to be having? And I always say you will be able to have coffee, and there will probably be a toaster, but we don't know which exact boat we're getting until we come that day. And so I won't know if there's a blender or not. If there's a blender, we'll probably have to either turn on the generator, or it can only work during certain times. You can maybe explain, like, it's not like a certain time of day. It's like under certain conditions, like we have,
to have an inverter.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you have an
So
inverter.
we will have, the vast majority of the time, we will have a microwave, a blender, a coffee maker, a toaster. If we get there and that's something that's important to you and we don't see one on the boat, make sure you mention it to me and I'll go track one down. There's lots of boats in these marinas and these appliances exist. And so we want to make sure that we have everything you need. If you need to make shakes, or if you really want to toast something, you can always use the oven, but we can also arrange for a toaster. And sometimes it requires running the generator to run these high draw items. And sometimes the boat has an inverter that, we don't want to just run them constantly because that will drain the batteries, but we can certainly use them for as long as it takes to toast a bagel or whatever it is. So yeah,
Great.
We will have access to these items.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Can I fish?
If you want to go fishing, we want you to go fishing and we will help set that up. Some places there are limitations, especially in national parks, and there are different rules in different destinations about spear fishing. But if you want to fish, you can bring your own gear or you can let us know and we will help you get that. We can find a rental company that will have it delivered to the boat for you. And so some people have brought these circular, I guess I'll call it a reel. It's kind of like a handheld reel where you actually just wrap the fishing line around the wheel. Some people bring rods that collapse down and they bring them in a little tube. And if you need more than that, we can help you rent that. And some places require a fishing license. The British Virgin Islands specifically requires a fishing license, and they're quite adamant about it. So we want to make sure that's in place. But if you want to fish, let us know. And then a follow-on question is often, if I catch something, can we cook it up? And the answer is yes. You can catch and release, but if you catch something and it's all within the rules, we will gladly help you do what needs to be done to serve that for food for yourself if you want to keep it, or if you want to share it with the boat, we'll help you with that as well.
Great. Thank you.
Are there any other questions that you can think of that we may not have put on our list?
I mean, we've been coming up with questions as we go as well, just because we get asked so frequently. But
it's a good first draft.
I think one of the questions is, will we be sharing photos? Once you get out there, they don't always ask in advance, but once you get out there and you're on the boat and someone caught the lightning storm and someone else had an underwater camera and now you're all best friends, they're like, can we all share our photos? Like, what are we going to do with all these memories we've just made?
I love sharing photos. And so, yes, we will have either a text thread or a WhatsApp group where you can just post to the group and anything that you post is considered shareable. I will oftentimes also set up a Google Drive and a folder with your name in it, and you can just drop your photos or videos into that folder, and everybody on the trip will have access to that. So anything that you want to share, like if you get a great shot of somebody on the bow or, a couple up there and they're never going to get that picture of themselves, but you get it for them, it's a real gift and generosity to share your pictures with others, and they'll do the same for you. And we end up getting the best memories of the whole experience that way. And it's a great way to connect.
Yeah, it's a great way to connect. I actually was just looking at one of the WhatsApp groups today, and someone had posted a picture of meeting up with another crew member in Oklahoma. Like, we went sailing in Croatia, then they became friends and like traveled together in Italy for a few days. And now here they are saying, hey, I was going camping. And now I'm like continuing to get pictures from people as their adventures continue.
I guess another question is, do people stay in touch after the trip? And the answer is yes. You're going to make great friends. You're going to want to stay in touch. We've had people visit each other in Oklahoma and Texas and California and different places. And people want to stay connected and always, I have some groups that are talking about doing reunion trips where we all get on the boat again and go to a different destination.
And some of them didn't know each other before the original trip. Yeah.
So if you have a question that you wish we had answered, reach out, put in the comments or email us. Let us know. We want to be as helpful as possible with information. So if you have a question, let us know and we'll get the answer to you.
Oh, I have a good question.
Oh,
We always end our podcast with this question. This is a question for you. What could go right?
hey everyone, before we sign off today, this is Erik, Orton, and I just want to give you the sailing update. A few weeks ago, we put out our schedule for the whole year, all of 2026. And I just wanted to highlight a couple of trips that are coming up that I think are really worth remembering. We are going to be spending the winter in the British Virgin Islands, the BVI. So we're going to do a trip early January, late January, and February. And I love the BVI, and I'm going to tell you why. It is easy to get to. The sailing is world class. There's fantastic snorkeling. It's sunny at a time of year when, wherever you are in the world, January and February, chances are it's a little bit cold, a little bit gloomy. This is the perfect getaway for midwinter. So January 5th through the 10th, we're going to be in the BVI. We'll be there again January 26th through the 31st, and then again February 16th through the 21st. Another thing is these will be our lowest price trips of the year. After these trips, prices jump to our new season setting. So if you want to get the best bang for your buck, BVI January 5 through 10, 26 through 31, or February 16 through 21. If you're feeling spendy, March, we are going to French Polynesia. We're going to do a one-way sail from Raiatea to Bora Bora. Bora Bora is gorgeous. The last time we were there was, I want to say, 2017. So we don't go very often. It's almost double the cost of our other trips. If you can afford it, it's super worth it. And it's beautiful. Imagine just like the biggest expanses of turquoise water and incredible sea life and fun restaurants and beautiful scenery. So if you want to go to French Polynesia in March, we're going to be there March 8th through the 14th. If not, if that's a little bit out of your range, which I totally get, our January and February trips to the BVI are going to be your best deal for the year. So click the button or just go to the Awesome Factory /.ny for the Awesome Factory / sorry, let me get this right. The Awesome Factory .nyc /sailing. That'll take you to the page that explains everything. Let's hop on a call, or you can email us at hello@theawesomefactory.nyc. Would love to sail with you in Q1 of next year. There's a couple of spots left on each of the BVI trips, so would love to welcome you aboard, and whether there or Bora Bora, either way, it'd be fun to sail together. Before we wrap up entirely, people go sailing with us, and I want you to hear from them directly what kind of experience they have. So here's is a sailing takeaway from somebody who's gone sailing with us recently.
Take away just the, how you can, how a group of people can go anywhere and build relationships and friendships that you wouldn't expect to walk away with.